Okay.
Welcome.
Welcome to the wonderful world of the Stay-F-Homekins podcast.
The wonderful world of the Stay-F-Homekins podcast.
That is our narrator. He will be sitting on a rocking chair on the corner of the stage.
That's for the theme park. That's the little video you see at the beginning of the stage. The Stay-F-Homekins monorail or whatever takes you around.
Mm-hmm. What if we did get...
And it's an old, gentle soul named Stay-F-Homekins. Hello, it's me, Stay-F-Homekins.
Buckle in. Don't touch the other passenger.
I was about to tell the Mrs. Homekins.
Oh, dear. I didn't want you to forget. Did you take your vitamin?
Where are we from?
I don't know. I wasn't ready. Can I get a second take?
There's no second takes in life.
Shit.
Welcome to Stay-F-Homekins. My name is Paul F. Tompkins.
I'm sorry. He's Paul F. Tompkins.
Yeah. Who are you?
I'm Janie Haddad Tompkins.
I'm a comedian.
I'm an actress.
We are a married couple in Los Angeles, and we have been recording a pandemic podcast for a little over a year now.
It's great, guys.
Light at the end of the tunnel.
All we do is talk and get a buzz. That's all we do. That's our big thing. On the podcast. No? Do we do more?
Well, all day I dream about sex.
Adidas?
Yeah.
Adidas. Right. We're Gen X, if you couldn't tell just now.
Was that supposed to be a thing, like a cool thing, or was that supposed to be you shamed someone if they were wearing Adidas? Like, that means all day you dream about sex.
Guess it depends on what school, like if you went to Catholic school or you went to... in Catholic school, all day you do dream about sex.
Oh, man. Everyone in Catholic school, they're dirty.
They just like a repressed, horny
yeah.
situation going on.
Yeah. It was rough stuff.
We went to Catholic school. Not together. We grew up in different places.
You were a bit more liberated than I was, I believe. I was very repressed.
A libertine.
You were a libertine. One of Charleston's famous libertines.
I was the famous Charleston libertine. Everybody called me that. The CL. The Charleston libertine.
Chaz-lib.
I guess. I don't know. I just grew up in the 80s. I was a latchkey kid. What do you whatever.
That's my story.
Parents divorced, whatever. Blended family. That's another situation. Oh, someone said they were going to do a drinking game if I said situation a bunch, and you said don't let me finish a bunch. They're going to drink.
Did you? What am I? Ross Perot? Can I finish? Do you say situation a lot? I haven't noticed that.
Well, now I'm going to notice it. I'll just count it out. Okay, so
here we are. Face to face.
How are we going to deal with living in America? Because it is a shit show.
This country, man, oh man.
This country needs to take a, what do you call it? A seltzer? What's it called? You know, when you take something.
When you take a pill of some kind? Not a chill pill.
Well, it definitely needs to take a chill pill. A bromide or whatever.
A bromo seltzer?
It needs something.
I was reading this article where they were interviewing cops about the Derek Chauvin trial.
Okay.
And this one, and like some of them were on the record and some of them wanted to be anonymous. But there was this one, so it's a lot of like cops going boohoo, but then there's also cops that are like saying like, yeah, the system is fucked up. But there was this one chief of police who was like, I hope we're going to regain the trust of the African American and Latino communities. Like, regain?
You mean there was like a day where they were just like totally
that,
cool with
that
everything.
To me is like so. It sums up the problem so well. It's like, no, this is not a new thing. This has been going on for decades.
Here's the thing.
We're jumping right in.
Well, it's been a week. It
has been quite a week.
If there are good cops out there, why are they not incensed?
Yeah. I know.
Over, like, if I were in a workplace
mm-hmm.
and there were like 50 of us,
mm-hmm.
but there were like a group of 10 of us that were total Nazis and murdering people.
Yeah.
And like donating to Kyle Rittenhouse or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I would hope that the 40 people
mm-hmm.
who were like, that's just out of control, would say,
yes,
you know what? We're like, they are making our thing look bad.
Well, here's the thing. That's what a lot of cops say. That's what a lot of cops say. And some of them will say that out loud and some of them will say it privately. But what they don't talk about, what very few talk about, and if they have, there are always consequences, is how ruined the system is, how rotten the system is, so that it makes it like from undesirable to impossible to speak up.
Like they might be like, yeah, Derek Chauvin is clearly a murderer caught on video, but they might not say the system is fostering this.
No.
Is what you're saying.
No one's going to say that. And that's the problem.
Because they're like within the system or they're afraid. I don't know.
Because it's like, I think it's not just that they think, hey, we've got a good racket going on here. I think it's that they think this is the way that it has to be. And so there's a mentality with cops now where it seems like the public is the enemy, and that
this is a bad situation.
Yeah.
This is not a good situation that we're in. This is a bad situation. Like they should be like demanding for change.
Exactly. But I don't think they will, because I think that the institution of the police in this country has been made to believe this is the way that it has to be.
Right.
And it does make you feel sorry for some individuals who maybe didn't realize that before they got into police work, and then they find out like, oh no, I'm in this terrible thing and there's nothing I can do. I can't say anything or they'll ruin my life, Right. And this is not to, when I say that, I'm not trying to minimize the victims of police brutality, violence, and murder.
No, it's a complicated situation. It's not like
it gets into.
It's a complicated situation.
It gets into how racist all our systems are.
Yeah, and so like I guess I was seeing. God, I woke up this morning. Everyone else did too. To the news that there was another mass murder.
Yeah.
At a FedEx facility in Indianapolis. And right before this podcast started, I was scrolling on Twitter like I do, because I'm clearly a weak-minded person and can't stop doing Twitter, which is such a cesspool. And I don't know who I was following.
Follow us on Twitter at stayfhomekins.
I don't know who I was looking at. I was just scrolling around, like sometimes like the trending topics, so I don't necessarily associate it with who's posting it.
Right.
But like, I was reading this thread where this person had like screen capped all these tweets. And like, this is a side of Twitter I don't really see unless someone puts it in front of my face. Mm-hmm. But they were like, oh, the shooter's definitely black, because the mainstream media hasn't named to it. And by the way, it just like happened last night or whatever.
Yeah.
The mainstream media hasn't named to it as because he's black and they're just gonna like because racism does not exist in America. And I was like, whoa, like this is crazy. I don't know if these are like who these people are that are posting this, but he's like posting all of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, well, it was like a 19-year-old white kid. And apparently they haven't named the motivation. Oh, by the way, and they knew he was a threat. He had been alerted.
He was like on a list.
Yeah, like people had gone to authorities to say that he was problematic.
Wow.
And that they feared violence from this person. Mm-hmm. And if you look at the photo of him, which I didn't even mean to, it was just like in my face as I was scrolling. I mean, he's like, he looks like a kid. Mm-hmm. I guess he was 19, so he was a man, but his face looks like like if you saw him at like the Walgreens or something, you might be like, oh, that I wonder what grade he, whatever. But and it was a white kid or man, sorry, it was a white man. And I guess this was a prominent area for the Sikh community. Mm-hmm. And so 7 out of the 9 victims identified Sikh. And so you have to wonder if he had like racial rage coming, bigotry rage or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, on top of whatever. And then it was like all of these posts of like, racism does not exist in America. And it's like, no, every American is racist. We're all racist. Like all of us.
It's a racist country.
We're
brought up with it.
We are like programmed to believe. I mean, we stole the land from brown people.
We didn't get off to a great start.
I'm not saying like
we stole the land from the people that were here. Then we made sure that slavery was okay in the Constitution. In our very
But what I don't understand is why
official documents like, no, but slavery, black people are 3/5 of a person.
But how can you not just acknowledge the fact that every American has been like socialized in a certain mindset?
Because people don't want to feel bad. People don't want to self-examine. They don't want to look inward, and they don't want to deal with. It's easier to not grapple with it and just be mad at it and say like, "Oh, you people think everything is racist." That's easier.
I don't know. I mean, it's very weird to me because it's like, it doesn't seem possible to deny it. Like, how can you look at things in front of your face?
I know.
How can you look at things in front of your face? Okay. Mm-hmm. The work that should be done is within yourself, but also in society, but it has to start with yourself. That's how I feel about like.
Well, the biggest obstacle to overcoming racism in this country is that not enough people will acknowledge that it's a problem.
Well, that's just sad. I mean, that's just sad.
It's extremely sad and infuriating. This week really sucked.
This week was like America on steroids, kind of.
It's
like
ridiculous. All these cop shootings, mass shootings, like
videos being released of things I don't want to see, but I mean, they're a reality.
Yeah. They're
a reality for people. And so I, of course, watched this Frontline today about the insurrection. Mm-hmm. And like, it's really good. Everyone should watch this, the latest one. This guy does amazing reporting. He's from ProPublica.
He is great. His voiceover is like...
His voiceover is great.
It's like he recorded it and there was someone sleeping in the next room.
Yeah, but that's
I'm just going to knock out this voiceover real quick.
That's like a PBS voice, I think. He needs to have it.
It's almost like Headspace app voice.
I appreciated his narration.
I'm just lightly
because it's
teasing.
a very disturbing Frontline.
Yeah.
Like it's disturbing. So like his calmness in the face. First of all, this guy's like brave as shit. He's like going to all of these, rallies and stuff. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I look at that stuff on TV and it makes me want to piss my pants. It's so scary. Mm-hmm. Like people walking around like just armed to the teeth. It like anyway, he wanted to find like, you know, like the reason for the insurrection, and it's basically Trump is the reason. Okay, spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's Trump, but whatever. Okay, so but the whole thing about it, here's what I don't understand about some of these militia movements. Maybe someone can tell me, because this was the one question that was not answered in the front line.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, for example, like the Boogaloo Boys, they they want to kill cops, and they killed a cop in Oakland,
Right?
And they want to kill cops, and but they want to. They're angry because of tyranny, they said, or like losing their freedoms and stuff.
Yeah.
And the question that I need answered is, what is it that they want to be allowed to do that they're not allowed to do?
Yeah.
And is the answer murder? Because it seems like it.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like it seems like it's like, oh, we should be allowed to do whatever we want. That's what we're fighting for, is our freedom.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels like, well, you're allowed to do anything you want.
Yeah.
Like you're allowed to walk around with these AR-15s on your body anywhere you feel like, and pick fights with people. So, and you're allowed to do it. So what is it? What are you fighting for exactly?
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense what they're fighting. I didn't understand the thing that they're scared of.
Here's what it is.
Because there's a lot of fear coming off of
Yeah,
them.
absolutely. And here's what I think it is with these guys, with these types of people, is it's always, and it's used, it's a thing that's used to justify bigotry and hatred. It's always, this is what could happen. So we're trying to take up arms now to make sure that it doesn't happen. Or if it does happen, we'll be ready.
But there's no evidence that it...
There never is.
There's no evidence that could happen.
There never is.
Whatever it is that they think could happen.
Exactly.
Happen.
There never is. There never is.
The evidence of something happening is far more like toward a marginalized group than a white group.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, they're not all white. Like some of the Proud Boys.
Yeah. Those guys, man. I don't know what to tell you.
All I know is, well, you know, people get radicalized. I mean, like, there's Americans that join ISIS. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
Like,
but it's also, it's like that group, like the Proud Boys specifically, like they love being able to say, like, we're not a racist organization because we have, all these
few.
other,
yeah.
But it's like, there's so much more evidence of these guys being a racist organization. And it's like, the enemy of my enemy is my friend and whatever.
Is it the 6 million weren't enough T-shirts? Is that what you think is the evidence?
It's like they'll use these people as a front for as long as it is, convenient for them or expedient for them to do so.
Well, I know there's some listeners now that are so pissed because we're talking about
because they're Proud Boys. I know a lot of Proud Boys listen to this, and
people get so mad. They're like, it's like half the people are like, I love when you talk about current events. It makes me process things, and I'm not alone when I'm experiencing them. And then other for the people are like, fucking social justice warrior dumbass.
I know, but look, there's always going to be those people, and this podcast has always been, we just talk about what we talk about, and. This was a terrible week. This was a terrible week.
The thing that makes me mad when people get mad about the podcast is like, do they not see the unsubscribe? The unsubscribe.
I know. Well, that's, yes. There's always that.
I'm like, you don't have to.
But look.
Deal with this.
Way more people enjoy the podcast than give us a hard time about it.
I like that people are still listening to us.
And so we're very grateful for that.
Very nice mail and very nice feedback online, and it's very comforting and warming. And people are sending pictures of getting vaccinated, which is like so cool. I love that. There's so much joy. It's like, oh, they made it through the year. They got vaccinated and stuff.
We're half vaxxed in this household.
Yeah.
We're looking forward to going all the way.
Let's go all the way.
We have a little.
Let's go.
We have a little neighborhood plan for our friends for a few of our friends who live in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
that we're going to have, once everybody is vaccinated and in the clear,
They're coming over inside our house.
we're going to come over and have a little cocktail party.
With no masks inside the house.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically.
So a friend of ours made a chart.
Yeah.
Friend Mike.
But like, this is our neighbor bubble, because we have seen
A neighbor bubble.
we've seen these neighbors all through the year, just outside. At
Outdoor
over 6 feet
Yes.
distance.
Yeah.
It's not like we have seen them face to face inside in low lighting.
The idea of having, honey, you could not have described it better. That's exactly what I want.
Well, first of all, I require low lighting.
Darling, who are you talking to?
Darling, after quarantine, don't we all?
I'm gonna cover my body with Vaseline so I look younger.
Darling, rub some Vaseline on your eyeballs.
I'm gonna give everyone a gauze blindfold when they come in.
I mean, right?
But how nice will that be to have people in our home?
Yeah, it'd be nice.
We're just hanging out,
because we had
talking.
my mom. We did have my mom here.
Yeah,
Diff.
which was. Let me tell you something.
Chili diff.
Yes, having your mom here was so nice. To have another person here.
Oh, my mom loves Paul, so he's totally fine with that. She's all
I love her too.
She's like, oh my God. You can do no wrong.
I know. She always sides with me. It's great.
She really does. Which is kind of like, what?
But to have people over.
Oh, so
I can't wait.
Our friend Mike, this is the thing. He made a chart with all of our names, and there's like a yellow dot next to the half vaxxed. One person is fully vaxxed, so they have the green dot.
They have the coveted green dot.
And then the finalized date on the side. So
it's 2 weeks after you get the second shot that you
become
fully in the
vaccine
clear.
developed.
Yeah, vaccine developed.
You grow vaccine boobs.
Yeah. What?
Sorry. I'm all over the place.
I know.
I'm having
we're looking at mid-May.
Yeah, we're looking at mid-May.
Yeah.
Should we buy like 10 microphones? And record a very special Stay F Homekins?
No.
No?
No, I do not think we should buy 10 microphones.
We did talk about doing a Stay F Homekins live Zoom show through our neighbors, but we never got it together.
Yes. No, we didn't.
But it might happen still. Should we? If you want to see that or participate in that, tweet us at Stay F Homekins, and we'll take a little poll.
We'll figure it out. We could just do an Instagram live. If we do if we do a live one over Zoom, I don't know if we can be in the same room because of technical issues.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know if we could do it like this where we're sitting across from each other. I'm not sure.
I thought one person can mute theirs. How do Rana and Brian do it?
They're in different rooms.
Whatever.
What's the matter?
I don't know. I thought it was like a fun idea, but
it is a fun idea.
But it doesn't seem doable.
I don't know. I'm sure it's doable. We just have to figure it out. Honey, no, don't let me ruin your Friday.
Look, I just am like, I can't, handle anything right now. I'm in a
you can't handle
situation.
The tiniest disappointment.
I really can't. Why don't you tell us something fun?
How dare you? What fun thing do I have that you don't have?
I don't have anything.
Yeah, we've been doing the same thing.
I worked all week. I'm sending out my script finally.
Mm-hmm.
I made a visual pitch deck. Hollywood, if you're listening and you're looking for something, I'll let you read it. I'll get my people to send it to your people.
I'm very proud of you. You're working very hard on that script.
Thank you. I finished the script. I made the visual. Now I just have to get, it into the right hands.
That's right.
I'm sure that's easy, right? Is that something easy to do?
It's surprisingly easy to get it into the right hands. What happens after that? That's the hard part. Sometimes those hands move directly to the trash can.
Okay.
No, I think you're going to do well.
Oh, well, thank you. We'll see what happens. That's all I have. I worked all week. Fun.
You're in such a strange place right now.
I'm like, I know. Why don't you bring some love and light?
I'd like to bring some love and light into the world and say how happy I am that there's a little bit of a light at the end of the tunnel.
Sure.
And it's making me feel very excited about doing things in the future. Like I can't wait to get back on stage.
That'll be fun.
I miss that so much. Today was a weird day though. Today I don't know what happened. I woke up, maybe I needed one more hour of sleep. I don't know, but I had something to do in the morning, an ADR session, which means ADR, that stands for additional dialogue recording. And
It's so exciting.
what that means is I have to build my little studio in my office, which is 4 photo backdrop frames and 5 moving blankets. So I
make a little fort.
I make a little fort.
It's like
4
playing
walls
fort.
and a roof.
It's like playing fort.
It's like playing fort.
Yeah.
Except before you could just crawl into a box.
Are you allowed to tell our listeners the project that you are partaking
I think I mentioned it here before. Yeah, Jellystone.
And when does it come out?
I don't know. I don't know.
Really?
Yeah, I have no idea.
Where will people be able to find HBO Max?
That
probably.
I don't know. Probably HBO Max.
Yeah.
It's
And it's a kids.
Yeah, it's a cartoon. Yeah, it's an animated show. And it's based on all these old characters from Hanna-Barbera. Your Quick Draw McGraws, your Huckleberry Hounds, people like that.
That's fun.
And I will be playing Magilla Gorilla.
Is it funny?
It is funny.
And who are your fellow castmates?
I know very little. I know Ron Funches is one of them.
Oh, that's awesome.
I
He's
know
hilarious.
that Nicole Thurman is one of them.
Oh, she's hilarious.
God, who else? Because, I don't record with anybody else. It's just I record by myself.
I'm just curious if you had like a list of people or.
No, I could probably get one if I needed to. But it's been fun to work on. But yeah, I do have to build that little studio. And then I get in there and have, like Coleman lanterns, battery operated lanterns, so I can see in there.
It won't be fun in the summer to do that.
It's going to be brutal. But by the time the summer comes, I'll be fully vaccinated.
So
and I'll
maybe there'll
go
be like
into studios.
in-person stuff.
Yeah. They're doing in-person stuff now. I've just been out of an abundance of caution.
Right.
Doing all my recording from home. And people have been very nice to let me do that. And I think that once I'm in the clear, I'll be fine to go into
Vaccine
the studio.
developed.
Yeah. Once I'm VD'd.
Yeah, because you never know. Because I remember I did that commercial and one of the actors on the set was an anti-vaxxer.
Yeah. He eats right and he exercises, so he's probably fine.
I didn't tell that story on here. Now I wanted some space between the thing.
Exactly.
So that I wasn't outing this person because there was a bunch of commercials being shot that day.
Right. You don't have to mention what the company is.
Yeah. And so at the lunch, we're all outside and I'm sitting with a couple of actors at a distance. And I'm making
at a distance,
and I'm making small talk.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh, what do you think you'll feel like after you're vaccinated? Would you go to restaurant? I don't know. I was just making small talk. What else is there to talk about? You know what I'm saying? and the one actor says, "Oh, I'm not really into the vaccines."
Not really into them.
I mean, if you want to take it or if anyone wants to take it, that's fine. I'm not against it, but I eat really well and I exercise. So, that's his deal. And I
I'm
know
really into them.
I was like, okay. And I looked to this other actor, and the other actor's like, well, I'm half vaccinated. And I was like, oh, okay. My appointment is da-da-da-da-da, blah, blah, blah. And I was just, but then I'm like thinking like, oh, now I'm on set with this person, like, who doesn't think they can get COVID. Like, it's clear that this person doesn't think, or maybe he thinks if he gets COVID, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Because it'll be mild. Yeah, it'll be mild for him but therefore doesn't care like how I'm going to fare with COVID if I get it from him.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm like thinking all this stuff and I'm like, oh, he's not being careful. Like I just knew, like the way he was talking about not being into the vaccines, that he was like eating inside and, whatever. And I was like, cool. So, I mean, and yeah, we all tested to be there, but that's not a slam dunk, y'all. It's not. You can still you might test negative and have been exposed.
Yeah. It's not a slam dunk, y'all.
It may not. So anyway, so I was like, okay. So then later on, we're sitting around because you have to like wait around forever.
Yeah.
For stuff on set. We're distance. And I forgot how this came up. I guess I'm the worst small talker, I guess, because
I don't even know where this is going.
Because I was like, oh, what a year or something. I don't know what I'm saying. Like, I'm just spewing nonsense.
Hey, what year is it?
I'm just like spewing like, I don't know, whatever nonsense. Like,
okay, so what did you
keep afloat?
Yeah.
Like, this has been a year. What a year. Something like that. And then he tells me he stopped reading the news 4 years ago.
Oh, that's right.
And I was like, oh, cool. I mean, which by the way, like I totally get curating your exposure to the onslaught of stimuli, like that is, but like he literally said, yeah, I just turned it all off on my phone. I figure something big happens. I'll hear about it. And I was like, did you know that they found a successful COVID vaccine? Did you hear about that?
And what did he say?
I'm just kidding. I didn't say that. He said he wasn't, you know what I'm saying? My joke was,
I would love,
my joke was like,
I get it.
Something big did happen.
Right.
But they found a vaccine for COVID.
He's not into it though. I would love to know what this guy considers big, something that's big enough to reach him.
He said he was happier. Listen, I get it.
I get it too. I get it too.
Like, I get it. I have a bit of an addiction. I've talked about it on this show before that I have like sort of a news junkiness, and I'm trying to be, I don't know how I cannot be right now. Like, I'm trying to be, but like, there's just seems to be a lot of information that seems pertinent to my survival.
I think it's also that we got into in the last year, we got into a pattern of constantly refreshing feeds because it seemed like there was so much happening. We were waiting for news of this, that, and the other thing.
Well, yeah, this new disease happened that impacted the entire world, is still like hurting other countries way worse than things are going here even. I mean, Canada, India's, whatever. I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe he's a happier person. Maybe he has COVID by now. I don't know. This is like...
I mean, I guess we'll find out in the Oscar in memoriam montage.
By the way, on the Oscar in memoriam montage, is it just like if you were in the Academy? Like, how do they decide? I
assume it's people that were in the Academy, but probably... I
think you have to submit a name, like a family member has to submit your name.
Maybe. I don't know how the process works. You would think that somebody's keeping track of all the actors and
I think
directors
like if you're
and
like
so on
in the Screen Actors Guild Awards, you would know, like, if someone in the guild died.
Right.
If you're the guild, right?
Right. That's why the Screen Actors Guild montage is the best one. It's all actors, baby.
The Screen Actors Guild montage was sad this year.
And
Viola Davis.
It's sad every year.
It is, but I'm just saying it was like very well done. And Viola Davis was like the perfect person to introduce it, in my personal opinion. Speaking of awards, Sunday night, country music.
Let's take a break and we'll talk about that when we come back. Oh boy, this week's episode of Stay at Homekins is brought to you once again by Usual Wines. Usual Wines, we love you because you're the wine for the modern drinker. Each bottle of Usual Wines is 6.3 ounces. That is a heavy pour, or about a glass and a half of wine. No more pouring wine down the sink when you don't want to finish the bottle. Because of the single serve format and bottle design, Usual is always fresh. No more flat bubbly or stale rosé, the two banes of my existence. The wines are low carb and they have 0 grams of sugar. I mean, this is getting better and better, guys. Usual has a red blend, a rosé, and a sparkling white wine called Brut. They also have Usual Spritz, which is a low alcohol, low calorie wine spritzer that is made of sparkling wine and guava juice. It's like White Claw, but for grown-ups. Burn on children! Thanks, honey. Each serving has just 83 calories. So go ahead and check out Usual Wine's website at usualwines.com and use our discount code STAYFHOMEKINS for $8 off your first order and try your first glass on us. That is usualwines.com, discount code STAYFHOMEKINS. Usual Wines. Drink them. Well, guess what?
What?
This week we're sponsored by Green Chef.
What?
Our old pals Green Chef. We've had them sponsor the show, and we've had them send us food that we put in our bellies.
We sure did.
Green Chef, thank you for sponsoring us. You are Green Chef. This is your life. You are the first USDA certified organic meal kit company, and we enjoy, because of you, clean ingredients that we can trust, seasonally sourced for peak freshness. Ingredients come pre-measured, perfectly portioned. I almost said proportioned. I feel like I almost do that a lot. I think the proportions of them are what you would expect for food. This isn't the Flintstones.
He's not body shaming the food.
I'm not trying to body shame this food. And they're mostly prepped, these meals, so you can spend less time stressing and more time enjoying delicious home-cooked meals.
It really is fun to make a Green Chef meal.
Yeah, we've had them several times. We've enjoyed everything that
They're
we've gotten
yummy.
from them.
Yeah.
They are, honey, I couldn't have said it better myself. They're yummy. I am calling you to action right now. Go to greenchef.com/90homekins. That's greenchef.com/90homekins. And use code 90homekins to get $90 off. That's where the 90 comes from, including free shipping. That is greenchef.com/90homekins. Use the code 90homekins to get $90 off. Hey, do you like podcasts?
I sure
Psych,
do.
you're listening to it. What?
I sure do. I sure do like podcasts, Paul.
Well, that's good news, Janie.
What do you have to tell me?
Well, because there's a new comedy podcast, and guess what?
What?
I'm in it sometimes. This is from an old friend of mine, Emmy Laborn-Pedunovich. She has a new podcast called Workplace Comedy Podcast.
Wow.
It is a new improv podcast set in a fictional water bottling company called Sterling Waters. It is hosted by Emmy Laborn and Tracy Villar, and it features amazing guests like Sean Conroy, Adam Felber, Carl Tart, Lauren Tom, and, that's right, me.
Yours truly.
Emmy-
Yours truly.
Me, mine, truly.
Yours truly. Yeah.
Yours truly. Emmy is best known for her role as Mary Catherine Gallagher's BFF in the movie Superstar. Do you remember that movie?
Mm-hmm.
She's hilarious in it. And Tracy has done a ton of TV and film, including the Steve Harvey Show, Do the Right Thing, and the upcoming Netflix show Made. If you're a fan of shows like The Office or Parks and Rec or Community, you're going to really dig Workplace Comedy Podcast. Go subscribe to that sumbitch and tell them that Paul F. Tompkins sent you.
Where can you find it? Anywhere that you get your podcast?
Anywhere that you get your podcasts.
Oh my God. Is it free?
And it's free.
Oh my God. Go listen.
They've made it so simple for you.
There's no
Please.
reason not to listen.
There's no reason not to. See you in hell. We're back. We're back. We're back. We're back. We're back.
Back. We're back.
We're back. We're back. We're back. 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 That song slaps. What is that called again? Do you know?
For release.
That's not for.
I know it's not. Is it like Beethoven though?
Is it who?
Beethoven?
Beethoven? Is this Mozart?
Stop.
It sounds like Beethoven, right? That sounds like a thing he'd write.
Alexa.
Oh my God.
Alexa, who sang bum bum bum
Sang.
bum 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 bum.
Wow. She gave up. Let's try Siri.
Alexa.
Let's try Siri. Siri, who sang bum 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 bum?
Here's what I found on the web.
It actually gave me some result.
Really?
Little thoughts in the afternoon.
What? The fuck? Are you talking to my husband like that, Siri?
Let me see if I can play this. No, I can't. Oh, wait. No, here it comes. This is by
I actually think it's Mozart.
Tiny Echo.
I think it's Mozart who did that music, not Beethoven.
Oh, it's a Christian group.
Oh.
This is from their EP Waiting. Why is this not? Oh, this is bad podcasting, guys. And I apologize.
Well, this is what y'all signed up for.
We told you this was not going to be good.
We told ya. Told you so.
We distinctly told you.
So. Told you so. Told you so.
All right, I don't know why this is not playing.
I think it's Mozart. I think the music's Mozart.
Do you think it was in Amadeus?
Amadeus.
Ooh,
rock me, Amadeus.
How come nobody's doing?
Rock me, Amadeus.
Nobody's doing that now.
Rock me, Amadeus.
You know what I mean?
Like that kind of stuff.
Well, Falco is like, I'm going to write a song about Amadeus, and it's going to have a spoken word breakdown with a timeline of Mozart's life. Nobody's doing anything like that.
If we do we could do watch along with Amadeus, but it's like 4-hour long movie.
Every movie we want to do a watch along for is long.
That movie's good though.
I would love to see it again. I haven't seen it in a million years.
It's really good.
It's really good. It's really good.
Yeah, it is really good.
Maybe we should watch it. We'll look up the running time.
It's long. It's not.
Are you remembering it as extremely long because it's a prestige film?
I am remembering it that way. Yes. Yes. Alexa, how long is the movie Amadeus? Amadeus is 2 hours and 40 minutes long.
2 hours and 40 minutes. That's long. I don't know. Does anyone want that?
Also, we'd have to start it at 6 p.m. for me.
I know. If you're going to watch a movie that long, you're going to want to be invested in the movie. I don't think you're going to want to watch it with two knuckleheads that you've never met.
That movie's good, though.
It's really good. Hey, if you haven't seen it, check it out. Amadeus, directed by Milos Forman, I think.
Really?
I think.
What's the guy's name? Tom
Hulce. Tom Hulce. He did Amadeus. He did Parenthood.
Oh, yeah.
He was the shitty son in Parenthood. And I mean, he's worked steadily,
yeah,
but
what's
not...
his deal lately? Is he still around?
I believe, yeah. I'm pretty sure he's still around. Because I remember looking him up once in a similar situation was like, what happened to him? But it's like all those people that you think whatever happened to them, they have continued to work.
I mean, he probably did he win the Oscar?
No, he did not, but F. Murray Abraham won.
Well, he had the more complicated emotional journey in a way in that movie.
I remember his speech. He said the only thing that would make this better is if Tom Hulce was here by my side.
I'm going to cry.
You got choked up about FFM. FMA.
Come on. Come on. Like, that's classy. You know what I'm saying?
It's very classy.
That's classy.
Do you remember when Ving Rhames gave away his Golden Globe to Jack Lemmon? Ben Kingsley. He gave it to Jack Lemmon.
I know, but he like kind of didn't want it, but then he took it because he had to or something.
Yeah. And then he got buried with it, and Ving Rhames wanted it back.
No,
that's not true.
Didn't Ving Rhames die too young?
No. Ving Rhames is still alive. He's the voice of Arby's.
Shit. Oh, he is?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Are you thinking of Michael Clark Duncan?
Did he die too young?
Yes, he did.
What happened to him?
I don't remember what happened to him, but he died a few years ago.
That sucks.
Yeah. It was some medical issue, but it was not like... It was too soon.
Sick of talented people dying.
I know. Do you remember
So
I
sick of
did
it.
a behind the scenes of Talladega Nights?
Yeah, and
Remember
you
I
had to
used
go
to do
to
those
like
all the time. I went
Talladega Nights
to
was in North Carolina. Or
I think I went to
Louisiana or something.
Yeah, I went to North Carolina.
North Carolina.
I went to Louisiana
Someone
for the
died from the boy.
died from what?
The boy in Talladega Nights died.
The boy.
The little boy.
Oh Jesus!
Like
played Will Ferrell's kid or something.
Yeah.
Oh, that's too bad.
Like a few weeks. Was that movie about NASCAR, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he died like a couple weeks ago. Sorry, I thought that's what you were going to talk about. Because we were talking
What?
about people dying too young.
No. You know what though? Fair. I get.
We were talking about people dying young, and that was like.
I was going to talk about how I interviewed Michael. Now I don't know if I can tell this story.
Well, no, because we
callous.
want to honor Michael Clark Duncan. So tell your story about Michael Clark Duncan.
I interviewed him on the set of Talladega Nights. He was very nice, very friendly and just sweet.
And didn't
person.
he come to acting late in life?
I don't know. That could be.
Okay.
That could be.
I'm getting all kinds of things wrong. Y'all better Google everything.
No, but he
I say.
might have because I don't remember
Y'all
seeing
Google
him.
everything I say because none of it's true.
I don't remember seeing him in a ton of stuff before, like the Green Mile. You know.
Was that his breakout role?
I think that was his breakout role. I could be wrong.
Okay.
But around that time. So I interviewed him, whatever. I think like I was in line to get on a plane and he was coming off of the plane and he fucking recognized me and said hello to me.
That's awesome.
That never happens.
That's so nice.
That never happens.
He was like present with you.
Yeah.
That's why he remembered.
Yeah, yeah.
Because he was like,
You remember my dumb face.
he was engaged. He was like present.
Yeah.
That's all I wish. That's like my dream in life is to be like in my body all the time, but I'm not like, like I
I know.
get taken
I know what you
away.
mean.
Like I get hijacked so easily,
Yeah.
like by just overstimulation and, you know, it's like so hard to like bring myself down.
I feel like that is the eternal struggle, you know,
Yeah.
is to be in that place, to try to be in that place as much as possible. But you also have to understand that you can't be there all the time.
Unless you're like, you know, a practicing Buddhist or something.
Even practicing Buddhists, I bet they struggle with it.
I guess. And some people just have a natural knack for it, I think. Some people are just kind of wired
Yeah.
in the moment. Like they, you know.
Yeah.
Not me, man. I'm like flying out of my body all the time.
I just, look, here's my two favorite things to do. Obsess over the past and future trip. Those are my two speeds.
That made me think of the movie Nomadland, which was so good.
What made you think of that?
Because like her whole, like that character, First of all, y'all should see Nomadland. It's so good. It's I don't know if we probably mentioned watching it, but I don't know if we recommended it or whatever. But like it was on who?
Let's make it official. We're officially recommending.
I thought it was a phenomenal film, and what was interesting about my experience of watching the film was when it was over, I didn't know how I felt.
Yeah,
and then the movie stayed with me for a long time afterward. And then I started to really kind of shape my feelings about it. And I don't know a lot of movies like that where I saw something and I was like,
oh, that's
like
special.
I knew
that's
something
rare for
happened.
Sure.
Like I knew something happened to me when I was watching it, but I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
And then I kind of like, it sat in my body. Like I sat with it in my body for like weeks. And I was like, wow, that was a truly phenomenal way of telling a story. And the story was interesting. And anyway, but like Frances McDormand, and I don't think I'm spoiling anything. But her character was like, her whole struggle was that she was stuck in the past.
Yeah.
Because she kept saying like, you know, I can't stop thinking about the past.
Yeah.
And it was so... like I got it. Like I related to that. I don't know. And I get it. Like the film is sort of a metaphor, like about a different, like a forgotten America, blah, 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 blah. But like, but it wasn't. It was also about being human and And
it's also a real subculture that's in this country.
The nomads. Yes. Yeah. Which I didn't know about because I didn't read the book.
I had no idea. I didn't know anything about it.
But like her personal struggle, I thought it was just so brilliantly done because her personal struggle of trying to kind of move forward in her life and being sort of grieving this past that was no longer in existence.
Yeah.
Of like a lost one and a lost town and a lost job, you know, like things that don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
And, but also the metaphor of, because it was about America. I mean, it was about America.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was just like, it was really good.
It's a very human,
it's a
very
movie.
human thing to be like, and I know I struggle with this too. It's like you think about things that you should have done or what you should have done differently or blah, blah, blah. And then what you really need to get to is like, okay, that's all over. What are you going to do now? What about now? You know, move on from here.
Well, it's like, it's kind of like, acceptance is so hard, right? Like sometimes like acceptance is just, it's a bitch, you know?
It's hard to, sometimes acceptance is hard to figure out. It's like, what am I supposed to accept? You know, because with loss, that's one thing where you have to accept that person's gone, you know, and how they will live on for you in your heart, in your memory, in whatever works you do in their name, whatever. But then there are other things that are situational where it's like, what does this, you know, ordeal that I went through say about me, about the type of person I am, what I'm capable of, what I'm not capable of, you know, and you have to, those things are harder to figure out where it's like, you know, there with loss, you can say, I will, you know, I'll get there when I get there. You know, I do have to figure out the landscape of my universe is different now without this person.
Right.
You know, and that's a gradual thing that you figure out. But other things are like, you know, putting who you are in a certain context, like who you were when this thing happened is maybe not who you are now.
Yeah, like
because you've learned stuff,
like
you
for
know?
sure, like this year, right? And now we're going into what 13 months. But I think I'm a different person now.
Do you really?
Yeah, I mean, I think that I feel very like. I don't know how other people dealt with like COVID, but I feel very Oh God, that was my Siri was talking to me. I basically feel very aware of my fear of death and loss.
Mm-hmm.
Like this year, it was all that. It was just fear of death and loss.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a lot of death. Like we lost a friend in January. I actually just found out a friend of mine from undergrad passed away last week. And yeah, I mean, so many, and we lost like so many people to this thing. And I don't know. It was just a constant state of fear.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if that means I'm changed, but I'm definitely, I mean, like it's trauma, right? Like trauma does change you on a cellular level. There's studies on it, I guess. I don't know. What do you think? You think you don't, like, when you look back at the year, do you feel like you're different or you feel different or?
I don't know that I feel. For me, it's maybe more of a getting back to who I was, maybe. It's definitely like, I can't say
you
like
mean
this.
Like pre-COVID or like when? Like when you say getting back to who you were?
I mean, it might go back a very long way, you know? Like I feel more hopeful than I felt in a long time. More present in a way, you know?
I definitely understand what you mean about like getting back in a way to who you are because there was so much time to reflect.
Yeah.
This year because we weren't going. It was a different kind of year.
Yeah.
And I definitely had a lot of time to think about like, you know, who I am, how I want to be, what kind of person I want to be.
Yeah.
You know, the challenges of that, you know, because you can't be everything. You can only do the best you can, you know what I mean? But like, I don't know. And also just remembering certain things that brought me joy in a simpler times.
Yeah.
Because is that what you mean too, in a way?
That's part of it for sure.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to handle post-COVID life because even though I want to be very present with people, I don't know if I'll just go back into like a mode of, you know, frantic energy again. Like that's like my constant self, you know, where I'm like constantly overstimulated and like it's hard to focus on one thing because it'll be very overstimulating to be in environments.
It will, but it's going to be somewhat gradual, you know, like.
I guess so, because the reopenings aren't even at full capacity and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
But I can feel myself like being like, that's going to be very stimulating in a crazy way. Like even that will be weird.
Yeah.
And to be in a big space with strangers will feel weird. But
yeah.
I don't know. Like I hope some of the things that have happened this year will inform a better, you know, way of living.
Well, I mean, I think they should. Like, we have to. I mean, if you go through a thing like this for a solid year, you have to take something away from it, you know?
But I mean, it is trauma, though. There's a lot of loss.
Yeah, no, there is a lot of loss. There's a lot of loss.
And there's trauma. So, so you have to also recognize the fact that, you know, you might be reacting in ways that are not totally under your own control.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. But I think that one of the things that, along with the trauma that we had was, you know, we had a lot of time to fucking sit and think, you know, and it's like that has to be for something. Because it wasn't all Netflix, you know what I mean? It was a lot of
it for me was Netflix.
No, of course. But
I watched a lot of TV.
But no, I'm not saying we didn't. I'm saying that along with that
I know what you're saying.
There was a lot of internal stuff, you know, a lot of internal stuff.
A lot of internal, like, coping, a lot of internal work.
But a lot of thinking.
A lot of internal work.
A lot of thinking. A lot of just thinking about I don't know. In a way, there's the silver lining of this fucking disaster is that I'll just speak for myself.
Yeah.
I had more time to think about things than I have in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, then I realized like, it's not about time. It's about the way you think about things. It's about the way you process things.
Mm-hmm.
And I had the luxury of not having a crazy packed schedule of like going from one thing to the next. And
which is your total default.
Yes.
Like you've been living on crazy tilt for years, like to the point where I can see why this was harder for you to slow down in a way than it was for me because of how you live.
It was actually easier for me to slow down.
Really?
Because it wasn't my responsibility. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everyone was in the same boat. And so when things are quote unquote normal,
mm-hmm.
I have that guilt of if I'm not doing, a bunch of different things at the same time, then I'm lazy.
Really?
Yeah.
That's why you operate like that?
I mean, there's also making a living, but that is part of it.
I don't know. Like sometimes it feels like, because I've watched you do this
mm-hmm.
for years.
Mm-hmm.
I've watched it for years
mm-hmm.
where you're like totally overcommitted. I mean,
yeah,
it's like your default. Like it's like almost like I just thought it was like a compulsion or something. I didn't know it was like it was driven from a place of like guilt.
I'm going to say that part of it was the fear that things will go away,
Yeah.
If I don't say yes to things, they'll go away. I still said no to some things and always felt weird about it.
But you had to say no to things because there aren't enough hours in the day.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like you were saying no to things and sitting around eating bonbons.
But that's what it feels like.
Like here's
where the guilt would come in, is if I felt like I wasn't personally producing something, if I wasn't personally doing something.
Okay.
As opposed to somebody offers me a job, I go take the job.
Uh-huh.
But if I'm not,
generating,
writing stuff, if I'm not, then I would feel guilty. I mean, I feel a lot of things, but I would feel, guilt is one of them that would happen.
That's so interesting because, like, I feel like the creative process is not a linear thing. Like it has all of these.
But
ebbs.
You know what though? Here's the thing though. It does have ebbs and flows. But when you're in an ebb for a long time, it feels bad. And I could not help but look back at other times when I was like, I was doing this, and this all at the same time. And it was good. And I was happy with the stuff that I was putting out,
Uh-huh.
So like when I was doing the Pod F Tomcast,
Uh-huh.
I was doing that. I was doing the live shows at Largo.
Yeah.
And I was doing stand up.
No, you were grinding.
I was grinding, but creatively, I was very happy. But I couldn't keep that pace up.
Wow. I don't even know what to say to that because it makes me feel like I don't know, like I just want to like alleviate you of the burden of it because
you always do.
Well, I just don't think that that's just how creativity works.
No, I know.
Even though you're coming from the I mean,
but
I
it's
get
frustrating when you want creativity to be there and it's not. It's like
absolutely.
That feels so bad.
It feels so bad. I've been there. I mean, I get it. But on the other hand, if you can say to yourself, like, I know it's there.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's there. And it's just going to wake up when it wakes up. it's just hard to trust it, I guess. It is such like a mysterious and mystifying thing, creativity.
Yeah.
And so it's the for anyone creative, like and everyone who's listening to this is creative, like completely relates to this about the process. Like it's such an agonizing thing to be almost cursed with sometimes because it is this elusive thing.
It's also
and to be able to trust it is hard.
The hardest part for me is that you make it your identity, you know, you make what you do your identity. And so when part of that isn't working, you're like,
who am I?
Oh, I'm a faulty human being, you know? Mm-hmm. And who am I? If I don't do this, then what do I do? Mm-hmm. You know, what is my purpose and what am I supposed to be doing now while I wait for this thing to reignite inside me, you know? Mm-hmm. And I told myself for a long time, I was like when I wasn't doing stand-up and I wasn't feeling like doing stand-up, and I was like, I'm just going to trust that that's going to come back to me when it's time for it to come back to me.
Sure.
You know? And I'm finally starting to feel that way. Mm-hmm. Honestly, part of it was doing all that digitizing and looking at stuff. I talked about this on Freedom.
Reminding yourself.
Yeah, because I looked at
the joy that you felt.
Yeah. I remembered it, you know? Mm-hmm. Like I looked at
the muscle.
Yeah, I looked at some old set that I did that was on TV.
Had you forgotten it? Like that's what I'm curious about. Like when you see the old set that you done, and you're like, oh, I totally forgot I did that material, or that was part of my material.
No, I remember the material.
Okay,
but I forgot a lot of the stuff that was in it, and I don't know if this is the right way to phrase it, but I was pleasantly surprised. I was like, oh, this is really funny to me. Mm-hmm. And I remembered how it felt to put the bits together and, you know, and all my little turns of phrase and things like that. And I was like, oh yeah, I like this and I want to get back to doing this. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I woke up in the middle of the night a while back, like months ago, maybe 6 months ago. And because I was thinking about, maybe I didn't wake up maybe it was as I was falling asleep, but I made a bunch of notes in my phone because I was thinking of material, you know.
That's pretty cool.
It made me so relieved to have to be thinking about stuff in that way again. Yeah. You know.
That's really cool.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Listen, I don't know. I don't understand creativity. Like I just wrote this script and like in my mind, like I put so much blood, sweat, and tears into it, and I made my visual, and I'm like ready to pitch it around if I have to, and I know like what the season looks like, what the end of season 1, blah blah blah, all this stuff. And in my mind, I'm like, there's no way I have another one in me,
right?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like I feel so spent from that. Mm-hmm. Like the idea, like I don't understand TV creators or people that are like, they go in and they're like, I have 10 ideas and da 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 da, and you know, because I just don't like. No, this is what's speaking to me now. Mm-hmm. This is what's jiving with me now, and 2 years from now, I don't know what it would be. Like I have no idea.
Yeah.
You know, so like it's a disappointment in a way because you birth something and then you're tired and you have to like heal.
Yeah.
You have to like heal your body or your brain or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then it's like, oh, am I going to be able to have another one?
Man.
I don't know. Like it's just, people who are creative are so like fascinating to me that like how they work cause it's a different rhythm for everybody. Right. Mm-hmm. I mean, so what? It might take some people. They write a masterpiece. It might take them 10 years.
Yeah,
but then like someone might write a novel like in a month that is like a best. Whatever. Yeah. Like
I would have that after I would record an hour of stand up. And I'd be like, God. Well, I don't have any material.
Of course. Are you kidding me? Like I'm burning it off on a TV special is like there's grief. No, there is. I'm being for real. Like, there's grief.
I know you're being for real. I don't know that I ever experienced that.
Because you put it to bed. Like, you put it.
Yeah, but then it's like, for me, it was less. I I got over that because the first time I did an album, I felt it was really weird. It was like such a weird feeling that, oh, I'm recording this for posterity, and is anybody going to like this? And, you know, what if nobody, what if I don't sell any CDs, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then after that happened, I was like, okay, people bought this. That's good. And the second one, I had that feeling again because it was the second one. And I was like, what if people say this isn't as good as the first one, you know? And then it was fine. And then, so then after that, I was like, okay, I get this process now and I feel okay about it, you know?
I can't imagine it. Like, I find like stand up, I don't know how y'all do it. I know that sounds like such a like aunt thing. Like, how do you do it? How do you get up there in front of people and say all that stuff? You know, but like it is, I love the art form. Like I'm an appreciator of the art form, but I do not get it.
Honey, that's why I married you.
I'm not in the space of it. Like I can't.
That's exactly why I married you.
Can you imagine if you were married to another stand-up?
No, thank you.
And yet you do acting and I get to commiserate about acting with you. True.
It's good that we have adjacent fields.
I guess. Because wouldn't it be great if I like owned my own company or something and we just like had a steady paycheck or something?
If one of us was just
like
a business person, could say the other one when they talk about show business, oh, that's nice. That sounds fun.
I know couples like that though, where it's a necessary thing.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, you're kidding? I could never marry someone in the entertainment. No, you know, and it's like, well, I don't know.
Good for you, I guess.
I mean, those are people who can compartmentalize, and I'm not good at compartmentalizing.
You know Bill Clinton.
Or like a heart surgeon or whatever.
Heart surgeon? What?
Doctors have to because they have to cut into people. They have to compartmentalize.
Otherwise, all they would think about was cutting into people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, it's like a thing in medical school. That's why like doctors sometimes become like callous and stuff.
Right.
Because they're taught specifically because they can't think emotionally. They have to think about.
That's why we needed Patch Adams.
Watch along. Is that a comedy?
Oh my
movie?
God, no.
Is it a comedy?
I wouldn't classify it as a comedy. I think it's a drama with some clowning in it. All right, we got to wrap it up. What do you have? Do you have recommendations?
Yes, please. On CNN, there's a 4-part documentary called The People versus the Klan. My friend Jen Sims worked on it. In fact, when they were working on it, and she was in Alabama last year, right when the COVID stuff was happening. But she did get to go. This is not part of the documentary. I just thought it was neat. Is that she got to go to the Edmund Pettus Bridge and see John Lewis speak for the anniversary and stuff. That's not part of the documentary. Anyway, she works in this documentary. It's about lynching. Cause like, I guess there's still no anti-lynching legislation and stuff. But this is actually about a specific story about a woman who took on the Klan who lynched her son. And
in the 80s, right?
Yeah. In Birmingham, Alabama. And, it is, I didn't know a lot about the story.
I didn't know anything about this story.
So the first 2 are out, on CNN. And then I think the final 2 are out on Sunday. Although we are watching the Country Music Awards, so I'll watch it after.
We have to watch every country music award show. That's just a thing that's in our marriage.
Yeah.
So what is it called? The People versus the Klan?
It's called The People versus the Klan, and it's on CNN, and it's really good. And I'm not just saying that because my friend worked on it and had to leave Alabama in a car to escape COVID. I'm saying it because it's actually it's a story that everyone should watch. That's my recommendation.
It's a good one. I would like to recommend a movie that we watched called Concrete Cowboy.
Oh yeah, because it takes place in Philly.
In Philly.
Wawa. There's no Wawa in it.
Did not see any Wawas in it.
I did see Water Ice.
There was Water Ice in it.
There was Water Ice. No cheesesteaks though.
No cheesesteaks that we could see. But you have to imagine they're there. But Idris Elba's in it.
Need I say more?
This kid, Caleb McLaughlin, who was in Stranger Things, and now he's older. He's a little older. He's tremendous in this movie. He's so good.
But also it stars, I can't remember his name, he won the award for When They See Us.
Jarrell Jerome.
Jarrell
who was
Jerome.
in When They See Us, yeah.
He's like one of my favorite actors I've ever seen on in my life.
Yeah, he's terrific. But he plays a smaller role in this. He
doesn't shine in this film like the main kid, but...
He's amazing.
But if you haven't seen When They See Us, you have to see it.
Yeah, but it takes place... So Concrete Cowboy takes place in Philly, and it's about the black cowboys in Philadelphia. And
there's horses in it.
Look, content warning, horses.
There's horses. There's water ice. There's Idris Elba.
Yeah, that's all you need.
Netflix.
Thank you for listening. We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
We're stayfhomekins on Twitter and Instagram, stayfhomekins@gmail.com.
You
want to write to us?
You're the nicest people out there. I know we have so many essential workers write into us. We have so many people who say, they were happy to have conversation throughout this year. And it's so funny because, we're just sitting here in isolation doing this. So when we hear these things, we feel connected to you.
Yeah.
And
it's it's a good feeling.
Yeah. And also we have amazing merch at kinshipgoods.com. We have the new squirrel and rat t-shirt and sweatshirt, which by the way, that is a great t-shirt and sweatshirt.
It's a great t-shirt and sweatshirt.
A lot of people are getting it and sending pictures, and it looks fucking good.
Yeah.
So go to kinshipgoods.com, get your Stay of Homekins merch.
Put it up on your Instagram stories and tag us. We'll share that shit.
I do. I try to share unless the story has disappeared if it's been too long.
Sometimes it
I
happens.
Look in and it says it's
exactly.
disappeared.
The elusive nature of stories. All right.
Take care of yourselves.
Yes.
We're getting to the end of, the pandemic probably will never end, but we're getting to a place of more comfortability, I should say.
Yes.
Where more people are becoming vaccinated in America, at least.
Yes.
Not in the world, because we're hoarding them. That's a story for another
Whole
podcast.
other story.
Vaccine inequity.
Yeah, be careful out there, everybody.
Take care of yourselves and know that you are not alone. We love you.
That's right.
Until then,
stay safe, stay sane, and stay home.
Amadeus.